Toast. It didn't beep, but I'm hearing it. Alright, they're hearing me too. So that's a good sign. Alright, let's put it on. Let's put it on something random while we're waiting to get started. Oh, I'm just assuming the controller's going to work. I didn't even test it yet. There we go. All right. Probably should have looked at options first. Because he remotely let Ripley does it. Convenient. Show me where they are.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, there's Destel. What's up, man?
Not much. How about you?
Doing all right. Just making it another day. Didn't have to work. That's a good thing.
Did you get good comp time when you do weekend stuff like last week?
Oh yeah, I mean, I make all my money off overtime. I make.
Oh yeah, no, being hourly, that's great.
Yeah, I make some 45,000 plus extra a year just on overtime. That's absurd.
Yeah,
like
nice.
that. Yeah, I make more than some of the branch managers do. But
Yeah,
I mean,
no, that makes sense.
yeah. But it is an important.
Yeah.
It's one of the most important departments
Oh, yeah.
in the credit union too. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, we were.
You don't underpay the person who keeps the fucking ATMs on overnight.
Well, it's not just that. We're responsible for the FISA. We're responsible for the payment processing connection. So if we're down, everybody's down. And now we're also over mobile banking. Which it's all split. I don't do all of it. I mainly do ATMs and ITMs. But we're also over. We do all of the TCRs and coin machines now. The cash recyclers. We're over the phone. We're over that. We're about to launch a new thing of that, and that's going to affect the phone system. So now, effectively, we're over the phone system too.
Nice.
It's a weirdly load-bearing department. When we're down, the whole thing's down. So like, we have to fix it immediately, ASAP, no question, right? So,
Yeah.
because if it is, then the whole credit union isn't transacting. $10 billion credit union. So.
Yep.
It's absurd. You get used to throwing around money, those numbers. You order like, well, we do around $1 billion in check deposits in the ATMs alone a year. I mean, think about that. For it's those numbers aren't real numbers. Not to me and you.
I mean, what? When I was in the airline industry, we figured every reservation was worth about $365 on average, and we would handle a few million a day.
Oh Jesus! Yeah.
Like there's a lot of reprocessing the same one, but still every segment has a value of like $170 per line per flight. So yeah, I am used to thinking in those kind of numbers.
I know it's absurd. It's like really weirdly. It's these make believe numbers. Yeah.
So the first piece of commercial software I ever wrote was the earliest commercial version of America Airlines program that bills you for having an extra bag. The last year they ran my version of that software was in 2017. The baggage fee revenue in 2017 was $2.6 billion.
God.
$1 billion.
Yep.
Yeah, just minor, tiny little bit of pressure there, right?
I mean, I was making $45,000 a year at the time. That's reality real quick.
Yeah. I can see that.
Give me a real sense of how the numbers actually work.
Well, and that's the weird thing with what you do is a lot of it's where you're willing to work. You know, like a lot of it's marketing and what what stuff what what you make on the side, because like you can do side work and make a lot of money doing it.
Yeah, I don't like doing that then. I'd rather they pay me to work.
Mm-hmm.
Like
God dang it.
one of my coworkers left for a startup yesterday. 2 days ago. No, yesterday. And like, look man, I just don't like the paycheck clearing.
Well, see, that's what I tried to.
Money up to their house?
Crap.
Was that bad?
Did they pull a dump truck full of money up to their house?
No, just like he didn't like the. I think he did not like to see the corporate environment working. He had worked in a startup before, and he went back to a startup.
And it depends too. Like like a buddy of mine that used to be on the pool team. That's one of our programmers. He left for a while for a. Well, we're a credit union, so obviously we're a little more risk adverse, right? We're not.
Yeah.
You know, which for a lot of programmers, they want to be doing more. So you have, we don't have a lot of turnover, but he was getting kind of bored. He wanted to do more of his own stuff, and he's just, that kind of guy. And I'm like, I tried to warn him. I was like, look, you can, but the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Yeah, it's a little safer here, but it's a good paycheck. It's a job you like, and it's one that's not gonna, you're not gonna have problems with. And so he's there for a couple months, right? And of course he comes back because he was miserable the whole time. Yeah, it was doing that, but he was. Everybody he was having to work with was in other countries on the other side of the world, and so he's having to operate on their hours and work weekends and all this stuff that he didn't have to do working for us.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
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 And not making any more money.
Yep.
And you run it, and I've known a few programmers have run into kind of the same issue, doing that kind of thing, and I understand, like it's there for some people, especially. There's that allure of being able to do more, do more of your own stuff, do more risk adverse, have a little more creative freedom with it. But you got to weigh your options.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I have to work for a big corporation because, like I said, I like my paycheck to clear.
Yeah, I like that it's steady. I don't have to worry about it clearing.
Yep. I mean, I don't have to worry.
When I
company doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I worked for a problem. Lucky that when they did find. There we go. That when things finally did explode at my old company, if it turned out that we had somebody, they came in and bought us, I didn't have like a discontinuity in my paycheck. I mean, I've worked for larger companies, I've worked for smaller companies. And like before Rave got bought by Motorola, I mean, to me, it didn't matter what equity that owned us. I mean, to me, it didn't matter much whether private equity or Motorola was signing my paychecks. But I think overall, the transition to Motorola for us has largely been. I mean, for me, it's largely been good. There's only been I would say it's been 5 steps forward and maybe 1 step back in a couple of minor ways. But overall, I think, at least for me personally, it's been fine. Now, that's just for, changed. Stuff is starting to shift around a bit.
It can be surprising how long after a company gets acquired, however, they don't change things.
I mean, I'm surprised it's taken this long. I mean,
yeah, no,
they bought us out I want to say a year and a half.
But no, I'm talking about 10 years later, they still haven't done the full IT integration.
I'm sure. I mean, we've had a string of acquisitions ourselves before that where such things have happened. But it's I don't know. I mean, I'm always concerned because, at least for me, I'm on a smaller team that provides back-end services. And what I'm always afraid of is that, we're going to get made to do more with less. That's always what my fear is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's kind of where my job right now is going.
But
not with less, we're just being made to do more.
I mean,
no, actually, they've laid a couple of people off. Nobody really major, but...
Well, doing more with less is if they're shoveling more work onto you, that's still effectively being done with less because you have to...
Yeah, it's backfilling. We haven't actually... They laid off the CEO finally, which probably that makes sense, but Like, we just have been very slow to backfill.
I clicked on the wrong button. God damn it.
See, that's another fortunate thing about like where I'm at, because that's not really a problem. You know, like you don't have to worry about layoffs, and you know that part of it's steady. And like
we're particularly worried about layoffs either.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not particularly either.
It's just what I'm concerned about is just, you know, because my product, I mean, it's back end stuff. It's not flashy. So, you know, it's like, I'm hoping that with a lot of the stuff that we're doing, that it means that, like, I will be able to hopefully move up maybe into a more product-oriented role instead of being, you know, stuck in, not that I don't mind doing QA work, but I don't want to be in the position where it's like, okay, I've been here for 5 years, I'm still doing the same job, you know, or whatever. It's like, I just feel like naturally for my career, that is the logic.
So, like, find a product role somewhere else in the big corporation. Like,
right,
those
exactly.
things are legitimately valuable.
Right, like for me, it wouldn't. I mean, I like what I'm doing. I like the team I work with. I like the product space that I found myself in.
Yeah.
You know, it's obviously you know, if some other role at Motorola opened and say, hey, do you want to be a product manager for this new product? I mean, like, yeah, sure. You know, I'd give it a try, certainly, but I'd like to, you know, I'm just saying, like, that's like by the way, I'm not sure if you guys saw, I did post the seed.
Oh no!
I
just
haven't pushed the button yet. I don't know if you want to, like.
Oh, I'm already.
Have this broadcast on the internet.
Oh, I was already live. Sorry.
I don't think people could hear you guys in my stream though.
Oh, okay.
No, well, it's like no. I mean, I'm not giving away anything that is, you know.
I'm very cautious about.
Yeah,
I'm very cautious about what I say online about anything that I do, because I have to be.
Did Streamlabs just?
Oh yeah, you guys must take like actual serious, real, like, this is how to avoid phishing attacks kind of training. It's not that kind of bullshit they give most of us.
Oh yeah, no, it's we have an entire
you are a super attractive attack surface.
We have an entire department dedicated to InfoSec. Yeah, like it's not just like a couple guys. It's an entire department with it. Right. Yeah, it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Streamlabs. It's not starting.
I didn't have any trouble with it.
You know, I haven't gotten you need to upgrade Streamlabs in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to do a quick run the installer just to make sure I'm all the way up to date. I actually just popped 64 gigs of RAM into my machine the other day.
Nice. Popped 64 gigs of RAM in the machine the other day.
Well, getting 64 gigs of DDR4 right now is pretty damn cheap.
I need to do that for my work machine.
You can go on Amazon, get them for $120 right now.
Yeah.
Because DDR4 is in the bottom end of that curve. But anyway.
Because 32 is definitely getting pegged a lot.
Well, the reason why I did it, because I was in Lightroom, and when I was editing all my pictures from Japan, and I noticed that I was really hitting, like, my commit charge was really, God damn it, why is Streamlabs crashing?
Yeah, the biggest issue we face really is that one is we're still able to be independent and want to stay independent. The biggest risk you do is when you get to a certain size, you risk getting bought out by Navy Federal or one of the others, and that's what we don't want to do. You know, because then you lose all the benefits and everything that we have, and you don't know what you're going to do. You can't make your own bonus structures. And so like that, everything with us is about being viable without having that happen, you know.
Right.
Operate on that and still have like the same kind of profit structure that we had before, because it's not going to be a lot of fun. I'll put it to you that way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I noticed like I was really hitting swap, and I'm like, I don't because like Lightroom is such a pig of a program too, and which, uh, I don't like taking pictures as much anymore because doing post fucking sucks now. I mean, especially like coming back from Japan where it's not so much a lot of stuff that I can sync across. It's stuff that I really have to go into, go into one thing and then apply only to a few pictures at a time, and
Okay.
just going through a whole bunch of stuff, and like it was just slowing down. It's like my catalog is not that big of a deal. Yeah. It's not a big of a deal because you usually it's okay. You just load the image into RAM and you make all your edits from there. But just simple stuff.
Oop.
Am I having a problem or is Dan?
No, that was Dan. He just
it's me.
Yeah.
I'm installing. I was updating my graphics drivers just in case if that was why Streamlabs was complaining. But even basic, it's just Adobe just does not care about basic performance anymore.
I don't know that they ever did.
No, I mean there was a time in the past when they used to, but that time is long since gone. Yep, I know SNES 9X. Like that time just does not exist anymore. Like going in the develop tool, let's say you want to load up the linear gradient adjustment to pull down the exposure on your sky or something. Switching to the linear gradient tab takes 1 or 2 seconds before the controls show up.
Yeah.
It's just like there's just no snappiness, or it's infuriating. And also just like doing stuff in the library is just really slow. And I'm like, I'm on a 16-core machine with a 3080 Ti, and I realized like, okay, I really am hitting scratch and
yep.
other things. So it's like, okay, I probably do need more RAM. But I remember when I was editing shit in, it just drives me crazy. Like this program itself is by itself taking up 16 gigs of RAM. And I'm like, I don't know how aggressively it itself is caching previews or the developed data from the RAWs itself, but like ugh. So I said, you know what? I'll just bite the bullet, get more RAM. And hang on, where I'm losing my track. I gotta make sure I'm SNES 9X, FE. It's loaded. Let's try Streamlabs again now that I've updated my graphics driver. No, it's not. It's still fucking crashing.
Well, come on. Quit respawning. Jesus, I'm barely scrolling off the screen and it's just instant respawn. Did you try updating Streamlabs itself? Like checking for updates on it?
Yes,
So you did it and the graphics driver?
Yeah.
Probably just reboot at that point.
Yeah. That's what I would think.
Actually, it's not a bad idea.
I really wish that was a stereotype and wasn't, in fact, like 90% of my job.
No, I-
But it completely is with both the TCRs and the
well, it seems a little
and the
heavy.
ATMs.
Nope, I spoke too soon. Okay, I'm gonna restart. Be right back.
All right, so how do I get to that guy? I think that's all of them there. I actually don't think that this would be a terrible game if I spent some time to actually get to learn how to play it.
What is it?
Say the Alien 3 on Super Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
It's actually not terrible.
It's actually, that's a neat game. That is a neat game.
Yeah. I mean, Super
You have
Nintendo
to
had a
learn the
couple.
maps a bit.
Yeah, that's the thing is like it took me a minute to understand how that computer worked and like you've got to plan out where you're going. But here I'm gonna put it on FE anyway. Super Nintendo had like several good, pretty good to decent to good license games. I mean, the Addams Family is really good. Stargate's actually really fun.
True Lies is actually pretty good.
I don't think I've ever played True Lies.
It's like a weird overhead shooter,
Huh.
like Jurassic Park.
Okay. Well, Jurassic Park. There's another one.
Yeah.
You need to not have to. You need to not have to beat it in one setting, but that's a really fun game. You just have to memorize the pathing, or learn the pathing where to go. All right, here I got to step off for just a second.
Let's try a game.
Yeah.
All right. I had to switch the towels from the washer to the dryer. I have a bad habit of waiting until I've done to all of the towels are dirty and then just doing them all in one day. Okay, let's see. FF4FE 1214. Ooh, Edge start. Naruto Edge.
Yep.
Tilla, Sid. Okay, 2 character checks. The Giant. Interesting.
Yeah, there's no particularly easy checks, I would say, on this list.
Hey, there we go. Son of a bitch.
I told you.
Yeah.
I wish
I
that
mean,
wasn't. I truly wish that wasn't 90% of my job.
Well, it's like you got. It's in my experience when you do a graphics driver update, even though you technically don't have to restart, you really should.
Look, as an
And-
engineer, state is fucking hard.
State is
rather
really
not.
fucking hard.
I'd rather not.
No, I get it. I'm in the same boat.
Let's just build the computer out of pure function, said someone. And then you end up with my
I'm dropping frames pretty
previous
badly
coworker
for some reason.
who was super into Nix and functional programming. He ran the Tucson, I don't know, he might still run it, the Tucson Functional Programmer Meetup group. This is the guy who, like, on his, on his off time, on the weekend, like, oh, hey, I wrote an interpreter for the bizarre language we use
Right.
at work. In his defense, he didn't do all that much work the days he was times and days he was actually there, so I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, it's kind of like my friend's like my little brother. He doesn't work there anymore since it now, but he was working for Lockheed at the time, working with him forever. He'd been doing that job, and literally what this guy would do is when they would get a blueprint and they didn't have a tool to do the thing they wanted to do, he would go to his house, invent the tool, come back and get the job done. And Noah was just like, why are you giving these to Lockheed? If you can do this, why are you not doing this and selling it? He's like, I don't know. but yeah,
that's definitely like me.
Oh yeah. Especially if you've got the ability to do something like that. That's just absurd. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to invent a tool, to work on this $3 million piece of equipment,
Maybe I spoke too soon. I was seeing beach balling, but it looks like it's gone away.
My connection's been pretty okay so far.
I'm dropping frames really badly, and I don't know. I don't know what's causing it.
Maybe that's.
I may end stream and restart it.
All right.
Because it's not a bad network connection.
Everything right here, so I'm going to hit the button.